Lyle, Logan Ruby, Matt Mayfield, 88% on the year on faceoff. And now we got to go to the goaltender, Landon Pepe, the senior, 72% stop rate on the season. He has been fantastic to start this year.
Yes, Landon Pepe is a second-year starter. He's got about 25 career starts. He's seen a ton of shots over the past year and a half. He's ready to go.
All right, and then for Somers, it's a loaded group, as we mentioned, and we'll head over to Southside, the aspiring Nassau County champs this year, and it all starts with Michael Melkonian at that faceoff X, a Cornell commit, 4-star, one of the best in the country at his position.
Michael is a fantastic faceoff man. He's been battle tested for the past few years, going up against the likes of Cal Gerard and Jack Cascadden who's up at Cornell now. He's seen them all. He's ready. He's dialed in. He's had a great start to his senior year, 75%.
Yeah, he's been amazing. We'll step aside for the national anthem, come back in just a sec to show you Southside's starting lineup and tell you a little bit about Braden Gamberg.
You're watching Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network.
Hey sports fans, did you know Varsity Media live stream broadcasts get viewed by college coaches nationwide? Through our announcers' storytelling and insight on your athletes, we can help your players get an edge on college recruiting. Find out how by reaching out to Varsity Media today, 516-403-2050, or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Feel like your game film is too stagnant and not providing you with the insight that your coaches had hoped for? Varsity Media offers game film to help your coaches develop a game plan to execute on game day. Our current clients love the Varsity Media difference, which includes more insightful camera angles and a speedy upload process. Start building your championship team today with award-winning individuals at Varsity Media.
Thank you for joining us back at Southside High School as we take you through the impact players for the Cyclones. Already told you a little bit about Michael Melkonian. Braden Gamberg, the rare junior starter on this team. Obviously, that golden generation in the senior class. It's the juniors that were coming in and elevating this team to another level.
Right, as you mentioned, it's a big senior class, 26 of them on this current roster. So to be the lone junior sticking out, you must be doing something right. And Braden is going to have his hands full tonight. He's going to be chasing around Miguel all over the field. It should be a great matchup.
All right, and let's take a look at the starting lineup for Southside, the Cyclones, the home team. I want to focus in on three names. If you watched Varsity Media for a while, if you've kept up with the Southside team, you know about Michael Aiello, you know about Owen West, you know about Cole DiPietro, all three of them three-year starters, all three of them over 25 points this year. They are monsters, but guys like Liam Livingston, Griffin Mills, Cullen Lynch, Steve DiPietro, before the start of the season, points to those guys as X factors. He said if they can be great, we can be great. So far this year, particularly in that win over Garden City, they have been.
That was a big win for their program. You know, Garden City's been a tough team, as a tough town to beat. They're in and out. They're there all the time, and for Southside to get that signature win early for them gives them a ton of confidence heading into the rest of the season.
And all three of those guys clicking, playing confident at the right time of the year. So that's your attack group. Livingston, Mills, Aiello, West, DiPietro, Lynch make up the midfield. We told you about Gamberg. Chris Diaz leading the defense tonight. Two big pieces missing defensively for Southside. No Will O'Toole and no Jack Lazito, an all-county performer a year ago. So Michael Grossman starting in their place. Sean Quirk also going to get some time at short stick D-midi for Lazito. Big shoes to fill for those two. And then Michael Muscarella in the goal for Southside. Speaking of filling big shoes, Tommy Gentile, who was probably the top guy on this team the last few years, now playing at BU, and Michael Muscarella has stepped in, and they haven't really missed a beat.
And he sees the opportunity. He's done his job. He's waited for his turn. The Middlebury-bound senior, class valedictorian, 71 saves on the year, 55%. He is a big kid in there. He's a big space eater. He's going to be tested, though, with these guys, but he's been up to the task so far this year.
Gentile was a smaller goalie. Muscarella, 6'1", 200 pounds. With that hair, about 6'5", so very hard to get shots in past here. And this is the matchup, John, that's going to define this game. Muscarella dueling with Matt Mayfield, and Muscarella able to get the initial win. Mayfield at 88% on the year. They've played some big-time programs, including Wilton, the perennial powerhouse out of Connecticut, but he hasn't necessarily seen anything like Muscarella quite yet this season.
No, he sure hasn't, but we'll see. This is one face-off doesn't make a game. It's going to be a battle throughout the course of the night.
And it's one that both coaches pointed to as a defining factor in this one. Colin Lynch off the little substitution trick. That's something Somers specializes in, and what a first goal! Lynch races in, hard shot off the carpet, and on the deflection, he's able to beat Landon Pepe.
And as you mentioned, the junior making an impact, and that junior comes right out of the box, flying a nice high bouncer to the upper corner. A great shot on the run.
And look at that roll dodge separating, powering off that right foot, coming off a 3-goal game against Farmingdale. He has had a monster junior season so far after just 11 points a year ago, already 24 this season. That's his 15th goal. And Malconian dueling again with Mayfield, and Mayfield able to get the better of him this time. So we'll get our first look at Somers' attack. We told you a lot about Miguel Iglesias. Max Sullivan, number 8 in red and white, also a key piece. 35 points, 26 goals this year for the Towson commit. Another X factor is Mason Kelly, heading to Brown, 20 points, 14 goals, 6 assists, and we noted 2 key defensive pieces missing for Southside. How do you expect John Somers to try and attack that?
They're going to have to take advantage of those matchups, right? And you're going to have your guys make plays. The knowns make plays in these situations, and the guys like Mason Kelly and those guys are going to have to test their matchup and push the envelope a little bit to take advantage of maybe some inexperience for Southside right now.
Ryan Brush that time trying to find Sullivan, missing on that pass into the interior. Now we'll see the Southside clear. This is a big difference for Somers this year. They're much more aggressive and much more successful on the ride, and they forced a turnover here as that ball bounces into Ryan Brush's stick before he's checked out of bounds.
The clearing game is so important, especially if you're in a face-off battle and if it's going against you. You've got to be nearly perfect because failed clears lead to goals, and it gives the other team so much momentum and energy that they feed off of it.
You're talking to Jordan Hirsch, first-year head coach after spending 13 years as an assistant at Hendrick Hudson High School, and he noted riding and clearing are going to be the 2 things, along with the face-off X, that define this ballgame. So here's Lynch again. He's tagged by Dean Palazzolo. Palazzolo brings elite speed to the table, one of the best wide receivers in New York State. And a botched pass to Aiello, who's able to recover.
As you mentioned, the football, both of these programs had great football seasons. Southside won the Nassau County Championship, and Somers won. While Long Island doesn't participate in the state tournament, they did go to Syracuse and win the New York State Championship.
And talking to Jordan Hirsch, he said, look, it's not a 1-to-1 correlation as that shot missed on the crease roll, but it undeniably gave his group a different level of confidence coming off an 8-9 season, largely the same cast of characters, and this year 8-0, and we know it hasn't been against an easy schedule. Scarsdale, Wilton, Briarcliff, just teams you perennially talk about in the conversation in New York and Connecticut as aggressive defending continues. Cole DiPietro, though, able to escape the trap.
It looks like we got a flag down in the corner here.
Yeah, so Southside likely going to be a man up once this ball hits the carpet. But for now, a free opportunity at goal. I'm sure, well, maybe not as a goaltender, but as a player, you have to love this offensively, right? Because it's a little like, coach can't yell at me. I'm going to go to work here.
Right. You're going to attack the goal. There shouldn't be any backup right now because it doesn't matter. You're getting the ball back and attack as hard as you can.
And there you go. Owen West doing just that. Battling him hard was Brett Kennedy, getting that top matchup, and now a man-up opportunity for Southside, looking to take an early 2-0 lead here. Steve DiPietro mentioned a crucial conference game against Cary coming up on Monday, wants his whole team to be healthy. So Southside, I think their best-case scenario here, race out to a big lead, get some backups in. Obviously, Somers, a prideful, talented group, hoping not to allow that.
You want to be on the lookout for number 4, Wes here. He's a big-time shooter heading to Bryant University. Big kid, strong, powerful shot.
Already 21 goals on the season for Owen West, his older brother Brady, a star at Southside 2 years ago. As that shot's deflected out by Pepe.
Going live, but it's still just spinning. What's it look like on? What do you mean spinning? What's spinning? No, I mean it says excellent connection, but this
We apologize again for technical difficulties at the end of the first quarter. It is Southside 5, Somers 2. Since you last checked in with us, we had an excellent goal by Liam Livingston off the assist from Sean Quirk. John, we've just seen this Southside offense, hitting on all cylinders against, like you're talking to me about it before the game. Somers only allowing, 4 goals a game coming into the year, 5 in the first quarter for Southside.
Yeah, the Southside offense right now is really playing well. They're winning the ground ball battle on their side of the field, which is giving them extra possessions, and they're playing very smart. They're using good picks. They're finding guys on the backside open off of, on the backside feeds. So they're really clicking right now.
And on the other end of things for Somers, we haven't gotten a chance to go through it, but pretty dominant on the year, right? 3 different games this season with 16 or more goals. They opened the season with a 17-3 win over Scarsdale. Did have that one close game over Wilton, but even in that game, they got off to a hot start and kind of had to hold Wilton off. They haven't been in this position all year as a coaching staff, especially a first-year head coach with a younger team. What are you saying in that huddle?
I think you're just telling you guys, all right, we're only down a couple right here. We got the first quarter. We're winning face-offs. We just got to tighten up the little things. Got to pick up ground balls first time. And when we get a chance on offense, maybe we don't have to go to the goal right away. Slow it up a little bit. Let's get our guys going. We have plenty of firepower. Let's take maybe an extra half a second, test the water, and see if we can win a matchup somewhere.
And I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of the face-offs, because to me, you tell me because you played this game, but psychologically, I imagine the most demoralizing thing in lacrosse is not to be able to win faceoffs. The fact that they're having possession, if I'm on Somers, I have some belief right now, hey, I know it's 3 goals, but we can get right back in this.
Right, and that is the good news of this situation. He's done a great job going against Melkonian, so they are battling out, but it's not lopsided.
He won 3 of the first 5. Michael Melkonian get a couple since then, and Melkonian going to scoop this one up. Michael Melkonian, his 6th goal of the year earlier in this game, and it was in spectacular fashion. Low-to-low shot, zips in a pass here, and there's a shot that finds the back of the net. Griffin Mills and Michael Melkonian, one of the better offensive games of his career. We're only 10 seconds into the second quarter.
Yeah, I think that's Melkonian's 2nd assist on the evening, and he really just took off down the sideline. Defense turned their head on him. Was that West that put that one in?
Griffin Mills that time.
Griffin Mills, I'm sorry. Griffin found himself in a great shooting spot, about 8 yards off the crease in a nice lane, time and space, found the net.
This is something else Steve DiPietro emphasized. 6 goals for Southside, 6 different goal scorers. The depth, the balance, it is not something they've had since that 2004 state championship team 20 years ago.
Yeah, and I think they have about 4. I think 4 of their goals are assisted, so that's a great sign for their offense.
Mayfield notches another win at X. And this feels like a pivotal possession for Somers, as they've largely been unable to stop Southside. And maybe that was a bus check that time with Mason Kelly tripping on the carpet here. And here's Tristan Iglesias off the bench, one of 3 freshmen playing a role tonight for Somers, with Nick Newman, the Iona commit, out with a lower leg injury. Iglesias has been excellent to start his high school career. 11 points, 7 goals, 4 assists on the year. You see him with the ball right now. Of course, younger brother of Miguel. Iglesias gets a step cutter to the cage, unable to connect with Graydon Carr. Somers doing all they can to keep it in. Checked out of bounds, though, after the recovery was Ryan Brush, and Southside will have it right back. Excellent bit of defending that time for Mike Benfante. It's a super deep Southside team. You mentioned those 26 seniors. 21 of them have all been playing together since they were in 4th grade. Colin Lynch charging in. He wants his 2nd, goes behind the back. And will have his own backup.
Right, you mentioned the large group of seniors. You have a culture and a camaraderie and a common bond to accomplish something special as a group. And when everybody buys in, it's a great thing to see.
And just the synergy we're seeing right now, John. It's obvious these kids are approaching 15 years playing lacrosse together. Seem to have an innate sense of where everyone else is on the field, and just to trust that whoever's getting the ball is going to know what to do with it. DiPietro, the point guard of this offense. 2-man game with Sean Quirk filling in for Jack Lazito. Quirk already an assist in this one. Low shot. Skims past the face of Pepe and will stay with Southside.
Well, Southside looking to go in a little bit of a spread mode right now, and maybe take the ball, put the pressure on this defense a little bit. They've had them on their heels, but keeping the ball out of their offensive side of the field, and there you go.
DiPietro on the run. They set that screen. Two stuck with Quirk, and DiPietro, I'm going to stick with the basketball analogy, Sean. It's playoff time. Turns the corner, gets right to the cage, and finishes it. 7th goal for Southside, and a little bit too easy this time for DiPietro. DiPietro heading to play his college lacrosse at Hobart. Has that innate ability to stop on a dime. Had a hat trick in their earlier season win over Cold Spring Harbor, just Southside's second in 18 years. If that doesn't tell you how special this group is, I don't know what will. Currently up 7-2 on previously undefeated Somers. We will step aside on the Varsity Media Sports Network with 9 minutes and 37 seconds to go in the second quarter.
You're watching Varsity Media, New York's high school sports network.
Hey sports fans, did you know Varsity Media live stream broadcasts get viewed by college coaches nationwide? Through our announcers' storytelling and insight on your athletes, we can help your players get an edge on college recruiting. Find out how by reaching out to Varsity Media today, 516-403-2050, or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Feel like your game film is too stagnant and not providing you with the insight that your coaches had hoped for? Varsity Media offers game film to help your coaches develop a game plan to execute on game day. Our current clients love the Varsity Media difference, which includes more insightful camera angles and a speedy upload process. Start building your championship team today with award-winning individuals at Varsity Media.
We want to remind you that today's game is brought to you by Girolamo Insurance Agency, protecting what matters most. Since 1962, the Girolamo Insurance Agency is your trusted advisor located in northern Westchester with over 6 decades of experience. Girolamo Insurance has been serving clients across New York and Connecticut with dedication and expertise. Specializing in both personal and commercial lines, the Girolamo Agency prioritizes your needs to tailor coverage that fits you best. Reach out to Russ Girolamo and his agency team today at 914-962-9777 or visit www.girolamoagency.com. To Girolamo Agency, your neighborhood agency since 1962. So shout out to our buddies in Westchester. Really appreciate them sponsoring this one on Varsity Media. Somers, not a fond, comfy, friendly trip to Long Island so far, getting all they can handle from the Southside Cyclones. But with the ball right now, and each possession at this point, John, feels monumental for Somers.
Right now you got to rely on your superstars, and Iglesias and Mason Kelly need to start and take initiative of this offense and get them going.
Kelly's, I don't know how he was able to get that ball back in a crowd and might have baited an infraction against Southside there. With, it looks like Melkonian running off, or just an injury for Southside, excuse me. So no man-up situation. As James Sullivan Nate Modico will get a chance off the bench here. Or I'm sorry, that's Andrew Bella for Southside into the game.
And Southside's bumped Mullen up to the LSM to cover Miguel Iglesias from Norman's close position. And we got a flag down here.
Is that shot skims past the face of goal. Should stick with Somers as Graydon Carr was closest to it.
We got a slash on Southside here, 1 minute. Didn't see who it was.
It's Chris Diaz coming off. Appeared to be on him. And again, now that's you're defending this man up if you're Southside with just one starting defender out there, and it's Patrick Mullen. He's the best of the group, but no Will O'Toole, no Jack Lazito, and Chris Diaz on the bench with that slash. So golden opportunity for Somers here, trailing by 5 with 8.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Touched around the perimeter. Sullivan looking to step down and shoot. Hasn't gotten to do that just yet. Excellent passing and cranked off the post by Cam Violante. And that's the kind of night it's been for the Tuskers.
That was a great setup, though. A little inside pass to an outside shooter. You're seeing that so much more now. Johns Hopkins University runs it quite a bit on their man up, where they dump it to the inside and he hits the outside shooter for a step down.
Violante, a freshman, 2 goals on the season. Someone that Jordan Hirsch is really high on.
Little hidden ball action.
Oh, and a behind-the-head shot hits Muscarella. A magic trick from Miguel Iglesias. Down 7-2. I mean, some coaches might call that a bad shot. I kind of like trying to fire your team up in that situation.
These guys are so skilled, it's not considered fancy anymore. This is what they practice hundreds and thousands of times in a row. It's second nature to them.
And Miguel Iglesias, you talk to Jordan Hirsch, he says, I mean, this kid puts in the work almost like no one he's ever been around. So if anyone's ready to take that shot, it's him. Almost back to even strength. Sullivan uncorks a heater in the backup there again for Violante, but Somers unable to pay off the man up, despite Southside again missing 3 of their top 4 defenders on the possession. Violante hunting for room, could not chisel his way inside. Miguel Iglesias held to just 1 goal in this first half. He's had his moments.
Now Somers going with a double invert here to work on the short sticks.
Brush, Violante setting the screen. And Southside has just been steady defensively. Iglesias off the screen, wide, Violante there. It's not necessarily super flashy plays defensively, John, but the Cyclones have just almost never been out of position in this game.
Their defensive rotation is actually perfect right now.
Kelly, downhill dodger, ultra twitchy. 1,100-yard rusher in football as a flag soars in, so free possession here for Somers. Easily their longest of the game, and it will continue. Rare to have 2-man-up opportunities on a single possession. Violante. Southside going to get multiple subs in the game as their defenders have been on the field for a long time.
Not sure quite why the whistle blew there, but
I was hoping you could tell me, John. I was like, that was good for Southside.
I'm sure the Somers coaching staff isn't too pleased right now when you have a flag down situation and you don't get the opportunity to get that shot. Depending on the infraction, you can possibly get two penalties out of it, or 2 shots, excuse me.
Yeah. All right, so we'll start in the stick of Mason Kelly. 1 minute man up for Southside. Shot from up top, and the accuracy has just not quite been there, but Southside's defense has a lot to do with that.
Yeah, they are definitely getting in the shooter's hands, so it is disruptive.
Kelly, Brush hands free, finishes on the bouncer. They missed some easier opportunities, and Ryan Brush says, all right, that's just fine. I'll make some magic happen.
Well, as we just said, right, Southside's been getting their hands on the shooters, their hands on the shooter's hands, and in this opportunity, he gets his hands free, gets a great look at the goal, turns top side corner, and hits a great bounce shot. That's 3 bounce shot goals today, and in this day and age where these kids can all shoot the ball 95 plus, you don't really see that as much as you used to, as in the old school and on these turfs, but they're taking advantage of it.
Malconi in a clean win off the X. So reset to Owen West Southside. 4-goal lead can certainly slow the pace a little bit here. John, how do you think you'd do goaltending today?
I don't think so well.
You know, we'll throw you out there at halftime, and we'll test it out.
I haven't seen any of the goalies get hit yet, so I.
Southside calling out a set. The guidance of longtime head coach Steve DiPietro, an assistant on that 2004 state title team. Now in his 16th year as head coach, they've made 8 straight Final Fours, but have not been able to break through and win Nassau County. Turning the corners west. Race for backup that Southside is going to win. Running it out, Griffin Mills. Mills, a guy who battled through a knee injury all through last year. They never got to see the best version of him, and he's been excellent this season. 18 points, 13 goals, shot from up top from DiPietro. Another race for the ball, and again, West is well positioned. Defensively, and especially as a goalie, that has to be so frustrating. You get stop after stop, but you're just not able to beat that back up.
Right. No, it is tough, but when these shots keep coming at you, it actually maybe gives you a little energy and a little. It sort of wakes you up, and it keeps you on your toes as opposed to not seeing a shot for quite some time. Then all of a sudden it's bang, and like, oh man, I haven't seen a shot in 7 minutes. So this is it's actually maybe getting them going a little bit.
I appreciate that perspective because I would not have thought it went that way. Step down shot again, wide again. Southside will keep the ball.
Yes, especially as you asked about the shots, right? And in the shot clock generation in college, the save percentages over the years since the shot clock has been implemented actually has gone up because there's more shots. In the olden days before the shot clock, guys could slow it down. They could bore you a little bit. Sometimes you can get a little lackadaisical at times, and they could just lull you to sleep. When that 60 or 80-second clock is up in the college game, the shot's coming.
Aiello strip, but on an illicit check from Brendan Lyle, so Southside will keep it. And the good news for high school lacrosse fans, we'll have the shot clock in the game starting next season. John, I got to assume you're a big fan of that.
It's going to be great. It is. It's much needed. It's a great aspect of the game, and I think the kids really want to see it go because they just want to play. They don't want to be over systematic. They want to be athletes. They've worked so hard. Let them show their talents.
And we've seen teams like Garden City over the years. That one sneaks in through the 5-hole. Cullen Lynch, a nasty goal, his second on the game. Looked like an and one finish with the flag, but we'll await the official call from our referees.
And it does look like a slash call, so Somers will be man down. This is a critical face-off right now.
And just a back-breaking sequence. I mean, if you're Somers, you have that long possession, you get the ball back. And then Southside, extended possession of their own, and you give this team enough chances, they're going to take advantage of it. And to your point, you don't win the ball here if you're Somers. Man down, 2 minutes left, down by 6 goals or 5 goals.
It could be a 2 or 3 goal run right now.
Melkonian against Matt Mayfield. We mentioned Melkonian facing off at 74%, Mayfield at 88%. Melkonian, speaking of football, center style snap back, and Southside will have an opportunity to extend what's already a 5-goal advantage. West.
Great job getting his hands on the shooter. And what a save. A much needed one. And now you got to control the rebound.
Pepe trying to do just that, racing in on the help defense that time for Somers to deny the initial shot. Was number 17, J.J. Penzo. And then to your point, awesome effort by Pepe, and now Somers will have it back. Or, excuse me, just a timeout taken by Southside.
Yeah, and I think it is Southside's ball. Pepe ran out the end line.
Yeah, I wanted to take a second and talk a little bit more about the shot clock because you've seen teams like Garden City over the years. I mean, even in state championship games, just hold the ball for 4, 5, 6 minutes at a time, and you can't blame them because if those are the rules, you you take advantage of them to win. But it always feels like even coaches who have successfully employed that strategy have a distaste for it and look at it as kind of a necessary evil and are happy to be rid of having that option.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because especially if you look at a team like Garden City's had so much success and won so many state championships, so it's hard to argue with what Steve Fennell's approach in that regard. But when some guys want to push it and some guys don't, there's always that contrast of style of play. But adding the shot clock to these kids, I think it's gonna just grow the game even more, and the games themselves will be even better and better.
And it better preps kids for college, right?
It 100%.
All right, let's take a look at our belatedly our keys to the game here. But this provides an interesting infrastructure to look back. For Somers, hold your own on faceoff. They've done that. Clearing against the ride has not been consistent.
As you mentioned, yeah, so a couple failed clears early, gave Southside some nice momentum early. And
take advantage of opportunities in transition. They haven't been able to get out in transition very often because Southside has been so efficient on offense. For Southside, secondary options continue to click as we'll get back to action here. But that's happened today. 2 goals for Cullen Lynch, 1 for Griffin Mills. We've seen the substitutions defensively more than hold their own. To me, that's the biggest difference between this version of Southside and past versions of Southside. They're not top-heavy at all.
No, they're a well-balanced team. And honestly, it looks like the kids really don't care who scores as long as they score.
Yeah, and that's you're echoing exactly what we've heard from Steve DiPietro over and over again. It's the beauty, again, of having – I know we're hitting this point to the ground, but out of those 27 seniors, 21 of them have played together since they were about 9 years old.
Over the course of time, those things can be tricky, but this group seems to have a great culture and a great camaraderie, and they really are dialed in together.
And grew up under the guidance of 2 amazing high school head coaches in Steve DiPietro, who was, just a couple years into his tenure at Southside, and, of course, Tom Aiello, father of Michael Aiello, and having that their entire life on top of the fact that there's obviously a lot of natural talent here. A recipe for success for 3 years running now for Southside.
It's a huge advantage, right? When in most towns where they have, former high school and college players or dads who have secondary jobs, this is what these guys do for a living. They know the game, they know the fundamentals, they know the basics, they know how to build a building blocks approach from the second grade all the way through third grade and fourth grade, and grows each year, and you're seeing the success of that product right now.
And John, of course, you coming up through Manhasset, your son potentially going to play for Manhasset next year. You know that firsthand, right?
Yeah, we have we have an embarrassment of riches of former guys that grew up in town or played college lacrosse that give back to the community there.
And I always wonder as an outsider, as a timeout's taken after the ground ball recovery for Southside. How is it that I think this might seem like an off-topic conversation, but it's actually one that pretty heavily revolves around Southside. Like, how is it that Garden City and Manhasset year after year after year are so good, and you see a team like Southside that is always on the doorstep, right? 8 straight years in the Final Four. It doesn't seem to matter if it's a great year for Garden City or Manhasset or a down year for Garden City and Manhasset. Southside just can't quite break through. This year, they beat Garden City, at least in the regular season, 7-4. And Steve DiPietro, I want to be clear, he didn't put it this way. To me, talking to him, it feels like that's a monkey off their back, right? They were so close the last 3 years, lost them 6-5 in the county semis back in 2021 when all these kids were freshmen. As juniors, a regular season loss 9-8. Calhoun with a upset in the Nassau County semifinals denied them a chance at the rematch. And of course, Southside knows they're probably going to see Garden City again. But with that win and a potential win over Manhasset in a couple of games, we want to look at Southside's upcoming schedule. They have an opportunity to just face one of them and not have to go through both those schools.
Right, the seeding is going to be huge for these guys between Southside, Garden City, and Manhasset, right? You want that 1 seed and avoid that semifinal game if you get the 1 seed, and if Southside does get it and it's Manhasset, Garden City in this 2-3 game potentially as a semifinal, it's a huge advantage. And you don't want to see one of those teams because those guys, while sometimes they don't just rebuild, they reload, and each team, Manhasset and Garden City, has 2 losses this year, but when it comes down to May and June, these guys know what they're doing, and they know how to win big-time games.
Yeah, that Manhasset game on May 1st, obviously a separator. We have a little promotion here. We have the Wood Stick on Varsity Media tomorrow, John. I'm sure you'll be there in person watching and enjoying that. But if Garden City's able to win that, it sets up a scenario where Manhasset can knock off Southside, create a 3-way tie. What the tiebreakers are, perhaps overall record, a little bit beyond me, as Southside commits the turnover here, and Somers will come the other way. But regardless, that is a game that Southside is certainly going to have their eyes on. So that'll do it timeout taken. Still 27 seconds to go in the second quarter. Sorry, John.
No, yeah, and the Woodstick is a great event,
Yeah.
and having played in it and gone to it every single year, it's a wonderful event. Both communities rally around their programs, and alumni come back. Kids, people live in town who don't have kids go to the games. It's a lot of fun, and if the weather holds out tomorrow, you could see upwards of 4,000 or 5,000 people lining Ed Walsh Field at Manhasset at 7 o'clock tomorrow night.
All right, maybe second half we'll get into some of your favorite memories in the Woodstick. But for Somers right now, down 8-3, 27 seconds to go in the first half. Where are you going with the ball here if you're the Tuskers?
You got to give it to your playmakers. You got to give it to Iglesias to try to maybe not to be the goal scorer, but the initiator to create and draw that slide to find that second pass for hopefully an open door step goal.
And we've seen Somers try that to some extent, try to go one-on-one. Iglesias had that goal, had that one-on-one win, but for the most part, they've been few and far between. Is there anything that Jordan Hirsch can do to be a little bit more creative offensively, get these guys going, or is Southside just playing that well on defense?
Southside's played great that well on defense, but they also haven't really had a ton of long possessions where they've been able to set things up and get through their normal sets.
So the ball will start off in the stick of Ryan Brush. 2 goals on the game, second and third after Miguel Iglesias got the scoring started. Just from a momentum perspective, feels so important for Somers to put one in here. You could argue the difference between 4 goals and 5 goals somewhat negligible, but in terms of feel, I think it makes a big difference for the Tuskers.
And Southside comes out in the zone here, a little change of pace.
And Mullen, hyper aggressive, batting that ball away from Max Sullivan. We kind of touched around it, but Mullen, maybe this side of DiPietro, the most talented player on the field. Providence commits 6'5" monster as that shot's fired into the cage. That was a quick 27 seconds. Wow, I lost track of time, I'll be honest. Somers not able to score. Southside goes in a half with a whole lot of momentum.
That was a great coaching move by Coach DiPietro. And Mullen, as you mentioned, 6'5" with that long stick. I mean, he's covering so much ground. It's almost like there's 2 defenders out there instead of 1.
He's had some big-time defensive performances this year. This, another one of them. Southside 8, Somers 3. We'll see you in 10 minutes for half number 2 on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Dante does it again! Defensive play. Dante Mazzaro.
Yeso steps up and scores.
A jump shot for Nell.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media Pass is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County playoffs. For semifinal and championship coverage of boys and girls lacrosse, flag football, and baseball, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Varsity Media is the home for New York high school sports.
Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck. Hey parents, how about a bobblehead for your athlete? Bobbleheads are one of the most preferred personalized gift items today, and it's so easy to order. All you need is a photo of your athlete, a model number from our extensive collection of bobbleheads, and the sculpting process begins. 2 proofs are sent for your approval, and once it's approved, in a few weeks, your bobblehead is on the way. It's that simple. Order your bobblehead today by logging into varsitymediapass.com and click catalogs, or call 516-403-2050.
Hey sports fans, did you know Varsity Media live stream broadcasts get viewed by college coaches nationwide? Through our announcers' storytelling and insight on your athletes, we can help your players get an edge on college recruiting. Find out how by reaching out to Varsity Media today, 516-403-2050, or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
When it comes to advertising, are you hitting the right audience? Why waste your time with television or a free print publication that's given out at a local deli? Varsity Media has your back. With a following of over 50,000 and a local demographic ranging between the ages of 18 and 54 years old, it's time to get that return on investment. Plus, here's the best part. Your ad lives forever on our YouTube page. And with a large on-demand audience, it's a grand slam to advertise with Varsity Media.
Did you know Varsity Media now offers action photography for all sporting events? Available for individuals or teams, we'll send dedicated photographers down to field level to capture your best moments. Our rates are affordable and our photos will leave you with lasting memories for a lifetime. Contact us today, mention this ad, and get $25 off your first order. Email ben@varsitymedia.net or call 516-403-2050. Varsity Media offers live streaming services for any sport. With human beings behind the camera, you can expect the proper coverage angles during each game. We offer customizable options such as live scoreboard, multiple cameras, instant replay, graphics, and even announcers. Find out how you can save $100 off a live stream package with Varsity Media by calling 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
Feel like your game film is too stagnant and not providing you with the insight that your coaches had hoped for? Varsity Media offers game film to help your coaches develop a game plan to execute on game day. Our current clients love the Varsity Media difference, which includes more insightful camera angles and a speedy upload process. Start building your championship team today with award-winning individuals at Varsity Media. Did you just have the best athletic year of your life? And now you want to show it off to college coaches? Well, let Varsity Media help you. Varsity Media's college recruiting videos show off your unique skills to help you land a spot on the team of your dream school. We'll provide music, spot shadow effects, and a link to send to your next coach. Contact us today for more information. Don't rely on word of mouth or cold emails. Let Varsity Media help you take your game to the next level. Looking to grow your business on social media? Let Varsity Media help you. With over 50,000 followers across our platform, sponsor a segment during the broadcast and share it on social media the next day. It's the best of both worlds as you'll get thousands of plays and your ad will live on the broadcast forever. Contact us today for sponsorship packages by calling 917-470-0864 or emailing varsitymediasponsors@gmail.com. Varsity Media is offering a video folder that you can customize to meet your needs. A photo of your athlete can be elegantly placed in the front panel. Essential statistics with a biography can be printed on the inside panel, and videos can be downloaded and viewed on an LCD screen for as long as 2 hours. The attractive video folder can be placed on a coffee table and instantly becomes a conversation starter. Order your video folder today by logging into varsitymediapass.com and click Catalogs, or give us a call at 516-403-2050.
High school sports fans, are you following Varsity Media on our YouTube channel? For the best coverage of New York high school sports, make sure you head to youtube.com/varsitymedia. 3 easy steps. First, hit that like button, and then be sure to subscribe. And finally, tap that yellow bell to be notified of all of our upcoming sportscasts. Thank you for following Varsity Media on YouTube.
Dante! Does it
Terrific
again!
Defensive play. Dante Padaro.
Jellico! Ties it
Power
up!
move by Tieso, steps up and score.
jump shot for Nell.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media Pass is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Playoffs. For semifinal and championship coverage of boys and girls lacrosse, flag football, and baseball, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Varsity Media is the home for New York high school sports.
Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is over 50,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck. Hey parents, how about a bobblehead for your athlete? Bobbleheads are one of the most preferred personalized gift items today, and it's so easy to order. All you need is a photo of your athlete, a model number from our extensive collection of bobbleheads, and the sculpting process begins. 2 proofs are sent for your approval, and once it's approved, in a few weeks, your bobblehead is on the way. It's that simple. Order your bobblehead today by logging into varsitymediapass.com and click catalogs, or call 516-403-2050.
Hey sports fans, did you know Varsity Media live stream broadcasts get viewed by college coaches nationwide? Through our announcers' storytelling and insight on your athletes, we can help your players get an edge on college recruiting. Find out how by reaching out to Varsity Media today, 516-403-2050, or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
When it comes to advertising, are you
Really fun halftime here at Southside High School with the Cyclones leading the Somers Tuskers 8-3 on the Varsity Media Sports Network, honoring the 20th anniversary of the 2004 state title team, a group that finished 20-1, were ranked 3rd in the country. Only loss on the year, it was to a good opponent, a MacArthur team led by Scott Rogers and Nick Tintle, falling 8-6 in that game. After that, won 17 in a row, a heart-stopping 12-11 win over Bethpage, knocked off Shoreham-Wading River in the Long Island Championship, knocked off defending state champion Yorktown in the semifinals before eventually a hard-fought 12-9 win over Corning East in the state championship game. That group had 3 All-Americans in Kent Lucas and eventually John Orlando in goal, Bobby Hayes, a great face-off man, went on to become an All-American. John, I'm sure you were keeping up with that team at the time.
Sounds like it was a special year down here in Southside.
And their lone state title in school history. They also, I don't think, have won Nassau County or Long Island since then. And this is the year everyone's been talking about since basically COVID started, that Southside was going to break through and do it. They've known about this group of seniors for years and years and years, and got it done in Nassau County football, and now feel like they're ready to get it done on the lacrosse side of things. And we mentioned it earlier, but Somers could be a team in their way on that path, looking like one of the best teams in Westchester, knocking off the team that was Section 1's representative in the Final Four a year ago, Scarsdale, 17-3 earlier this season. The Tuskers, though, a lot of work to do here, down 8-3 as we start the second half. Michael Aiello, relatively quiet night by his standards. Just a lone goal. Owen West held scoreless, and despite it, the depth of Southside shining through. 2 goals for Cole DiPietro in that first half, 2 goals for Cullen Lynch. Michael Malconian getting in on the action and on the run. That time denied. Cullen Lynch shut down by Landon Pepe.
That's a great stop for Pepe, right? And he needed that one coming out of the half to keep this Southside attack at bay right now.
Cyclones will get it back. The ball movement, the cohesion, the skill finishing, all flashing in the first half for Steve DiPietro's squad. In his 16th season as head coach, we mentioned an assistant on that 2004 staff that won a state title. He said, look, we haven't accomplished anything yet, but he does note some similarities between this team and that team. Liam Livingston will pass it to center, and that's a golden finish on the cut, a hat trick for Cullen Lynch. It just feels like, John, if Southside's able to run their offense long enough, someone is going to break wide open like this.
Let's take a look at this replay here. Looks like a little ball, moves the ball down to X. The guy pushes the right side and finds the cutter coming down the back post. It's a great setup. And a nice overhand finish to the far corner.
Liam Livingston came back to the school as a transfer from Chaminade last year. 17 assists a year ago this season. Not much of a goal scorer. Just had his 4th on the season earlier in this game, but that was his 12th assist of the year. And here's Michael Melkonian again. 2 for 2 in the second half, dueling with Matt Mayfield.
And as you mentioned earlier, he sometimes might be a little bit of a slow start, but when he gets going, he is a tough matchup.
Livingston galloping from X. Southside would love to put this game away before the start of the fourth quarter, get some substitutions, and be rested up for what is a pivotal in-league matchup against Cary coming up on Monday. We mentioned big games to come, one against Manhasset, one against a resurgent Massapequa team that will be on our Varsity Media Network airwaves. As Owen West tries to battle his way free. Chasing him hard is Brett Kennedy. Oh, West, that was tricky. He ended up throwing it off the back of Kennedy. Southside again will keep it.
West looking to increase his angle with the backhand shovel shot.
That almost looked like a great pull shot. If not only you go behind the back, but then off the back of the defender. At a certain point, you're just playing lacrosse horse. That one eaten by Pepe. That's a thing, right? You play some horse in lacrosse. What is there a different? Is it called stick? What are you calling it?
Another failed clear here, which is a tough situation for Somers, right? They've had the ball now. Southside for nearly 4 minutes straight. So
it's been a theme for Somers, and I got to imagine Jordan Hurst, you're so frustrated on that sideline because it's something he really drove home coming into this game, and he feels their ability to not have those mistakes on the clear has kind of been the key to getting out to that 8-0 start and beating opponents like Wilton.
Right, in this situation, you're looking to maybe jumpstart the engine a little bit and get a big pass up the top and start fast break and get the bench going and get the guys going. But sometimes living to see another day and taking the easy one and hitting that single as opposed to the home run is more important than just getting possession of the ball.
They're a team that's played up tempo all year, had a lot of success playing up tempo. As DiPietro, man, that was just a dirty evasion. Southside will keep on the extended miss. And I do think part of those risky passes, John, is just the pressure they're feeling from the fact that when Southside has been settled on defense, they've not had a lot of success.
Right, and the goals that they have scored, right, I don't believe that they've been assisted. I think it's guys winning one-on-one matchups. And on the other side of it, Southside, I have to imagine about 7 of 9 goals have been assisted.
Feels like everyone is coming off a golden look.
And here's an opportunity and a first-time ground ball for Southside.
Aiello, clean scoop. Now West time and space for the first time all game, and he knows what to do with it. The senior heading to Bryant buries his 22nd on the year, and it's a game-high 7-goal lead for Southside.
Southside goal by number 4, Owen West, assisted by number 3, Michael Aiello.
And once again, another assisted goal off of a 50-50 ground ball. And those are the energy plays that get a team going, right? There's a scrum, a couple checks, and you pop up out of a pile with the ground ball. You find a guy open, who finds a second guy open, and now everybody's involved in the play, and everybody's feeling part of it.
Mayfield battling hard. Opportunity again for Somers. 50-50 ball. As Pat Mullen playing field hockey by himself, batting it around the carpet, and then it's a Southside scoop, but an infraction against the Cyclones will give possession to Somers. Felt like Pat Mullen could have done that for the final 27 minutes here or so. 17 minutes left, excuse me. Somers' first offensive possession of the second half, nearly 5 minutes in. You really appreciate a lot of Somers fans making the 2-hour drive from Westchester County out of Section 1 to be here today. They've been loud. They've been proud. And it's a cool opportunity, rare chance to play one of the preeminent teams in Nassau County. Ducking in. That was a good bit of ball movement, but Muscarella on top of it. How about the flexibility for Muscarella? We said 6'1", 200. And you could see that knee drop just immediately able to get down to the ground.
He has a big body in there. He's definitely a space eater, but to have the reflex and flexibility like that shows reason why he's going to Middlebury, outside of being pretty smart.
Quiet night for Iglesias continues, now being watched by Pat Mullen. Iglesias open for a second on a cut, and instead it's Max Sullivan, who's been ultra quiet. The senior leads the way this year with 35 points. Big-time cross-check for Somers, and they are whistled for it.
A little loose ball push right there, a little battle, maybe some frustration in that one.
And maybe that is the ultimate compliment to the Southside defense. We've barely said Max Sullivan's game, and here's an open field turnover that Somers thrives on.
And they got the odd man rush here.
Key moment in this game, the pass, the finish for Brush.
And we'll go back to it. Failed clears lead to goals and creates the momentum for a squad. And you get an assisted goal. So a lot of check the box right there for Somers. Great play, great hustle.
James Balancia got the scoop, and then he knew what to do with it. Brush crossbody, bounce shot. Muscarella didn't have a chance, but again, that's the first transition goal of the game for Somers, something that is the lifeblood of this team. Mayfield going to look to quickly add another. Perhaps he went too early.
A little too early. He was shot out of a cannon on that one. He was looking for pay dirt.
Man, you can Melkonian's gotten the bulk of them, but Mayfield is ultra quick and has given him some trouble.
Definitely, Mayfield's given he's handled himself quite well right now.
And we mentioned Mayfield, of course, is aspiring to eventually play Division I lacrosse. This is certainly a game you cut up the highlight film of and say, hey, you want to battle Cornell one day? I'm your man. Of course, as a freshman, you don't want to be staring down a senior Jack Cascadden. It's going to be a heck of a face-off group in upstate New York.
Although Cascadden unfortunately suffered a knee injury, and it looks like he's out for the year. They're actually down to, I believe, their third face-off guy, who was a Manhasset alum, Mark Silos, who's been doing a great job. Gave Notre Dame a run for their money last weekend at CW Post. It was a fantastic game.
Yeah, Angelo Petrakis from that Massapequa State Championship team also there. It's a loaded group for Cornell.
A lot of Greeks up there at Cornell.
Yeah, I guess so. It's a theme. So going to be Somers ball, I believe, man-up situation here.
A 1-minute slash on Southside here.
Sorry, we got a little two in our bag on the Cornell face-off depth chart. But still another chance for Somers. Cut the lead to 5. And the way Mayfield's competing, you always have a chance to come back with that ability to win possession after every goal. A rapid-fire ball movement for the Tuskers. Just their second man-up opportunity of the game. Sullivan threw the ball away. Bonfante launches it the length of the field. Risky pass. And Pepe able to come up with it, but now time against Somers. They have to go quick, and Pepe will try a risky pass himself. Somehow skates through to Brush. Brush working on that hat trick. Still a little bit of time here for Somers.
20 seconds left in the man-up.
I think you were about to get to it, John, but heck of a pass by Pepe.
Yeah, it looks like it just shot over the pole a little bit, but missing long sometimes isn't so bad when you have a hustling attackman charging upfield for a loose ball.
Time and space for Sullivan, who has a cannon, and he has to be ruining that missed opportunity because they've just been few and far between where he's actually been able to step into that powerhouse of a shot. No-look pass, Iglesias! Oh, what a sequence for Somers. The highlights have been few and far between for the Tuskers. That's one to remember.
And as we mentioned coming out of the half, it's time for the Iglesias and their superstars to start making some plays for these guys to get them going, and that's what he did right there. A beautiful look from up top.
Let's take one more look at it. I mean, tell me what goes into this pass.
He throws him. he gives him a no look, and it looks like Iglesias snuck, found a little window inside, and there's a turn and spin shot right away. Goalie never really had a chance. But as mentioned earlier in the game, when Southside was getting their hands on every shooter, everything was contested. Iglesias was able to get his hands free and snap that ball right into the corner.
And we talked earlier, but just the hours Miguel Iglesias puts in, already a special athlete, but I mean that release is honed, not something you're born with necessarily.
That shot is not showing up at practice every day. That's thousands upon thousands of reps from, probably since he was 8 years old.
And Michael Muscarello has been exceptional in this game. Didn't know what hit him that time. Chance for Southside to respond and certainly drain some clock here with 4:30 to go in the third quarter. And Somers charging hard. Mentioned it earlier, back-to-back state football champions, 13-1 this past season, did not lose a game against New York State competition. They're a tough-minded group with a lot of heart, a lot of competitive spirit. They're going to play Southside until the final whistle.
Oh, and they got him in a change.
Little substitution trick for DiPietro. Somers recovers initially, low shot, excellent bit of defending by Brett Kennedy. Goalie out of the cage, losing the footing. Pepe will bait the flag. And he got the pass through.
And he got the flag call.
Palazzolo, one of the fastest athletes in New York State, not just lacrosse players, a one-man clearance. And we'll set it up to run some offense for Luca Ploger. Back to Palazzolo. Palazzolo battling with Chris Diaz. It's a fun matchup. Have not gotten to see a lot of Palazzolo on offense. He'll come up here, but nearly 1,000 yards on that state championship football team. They call him a generational talent at wide receiver.
And they're going with a little invert here, which I'm a big fan of. Take advantage of these short sticks, create a slide, create a mismatch.
So explain what that is when a team does an invert.
The offense will take one of their short stick defenders, which are allowed 2 on the field, and try to take advantage of them from behind the goal and put a little more pressure on them because they don't have that 6-foot long pole to keep the attacker out from attacking the goal.
Violante fakes the give and go. Somers looking for their 3rd goal in a row. Mason Kelly, he's been held in check. Pat Mullen is a beast. You're just trying to get the ball off your stick when he's in your vicinity.
Yeah, and Iglesias did a great job getting underneath for him so he can sweep to his right hand.
Iglesias, that was a tough shot, maybe a bit of a force, but looks like Somers going to keep possession. So flag occurring earlier in the play, all the way back on that save.
Yeah, I think Pepe was slashed on the when he was being chased down from. I didn't see who it was.
And to your point, still getting the pass off, and I saw some goalie, or I could hear rather some goalie-to-goalie appreciation in your voice for what he did. Saying, look, no one else is going to love him, so I have to. Yeah. People appreciate a great save, but yes. I feel like the goalie usually maybe kind of like the starting quarterback, sometimes least popular guy on the team.
Goalie always says he's as fast as the guy chasing him.
Yeah. Max Sullivan again trying to strip in a no-look, dropped a Southside defender just with how hard that pass was. Iglesias, Sullivan, step-down shot, got all the speed, none of the accuracy. So
Sullivan is definitely bringing the heat. Maybe just tighten up his accuracy a little bit and challenge Muscarello a little bit more, but he is definitely letting him go.
Looking to pay off his senior season with 2 state championships, taking over quarterback on that football team this year. Doing an incredible job. That shot just wide from Iglesias.
And Iglesias there had a great shot. He used this defender actually as a screen and changed levels where he shot sort of shoulder high but aimed for that bottom far away right corner.
Somers just 15 seconds left to work in this man-up. Southside such a great job maintaining their shell. We saw it earlier this year against Cold Spring Harbor. Iglesias at his pass chopped away on the precipice of goal, but not a clean angle that time for Violante. So back to even strength. Graydon Carr, cog in the machine for Somers, starts things off.
Somers might want to try to get a big little, meaning a short stick and a long pole working together, and have that short stick set a pick for Iglesias, so maybe he can get a mismatch versus one of the Southside short stick defenders, especially, missing their top 2 guys tonight.
And big chop at the ball from Michael Grossman, filling in defensively, making a big play there, and Muscarella will come up with it.
Hey, these goalies are starting to get themselves in the action here a little bit.
A little desperation, Gilman clear to just chuck it up the field. Mullen trying to do the same. And a timeout taken by Steve DiPietro. Pat Mullen said, "What are you doing, Coach? I was about to cook him." So we'll step aside as well. 10-5 Southside as we near the end of the third here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Varsity Media offers live streaming services for any sport. With human beings behind the camera, you can expect the proper coverage angles during each game. We offer customizable options such as live scoreboard, multiple cameras, instant replay, graphics, and even announcers. Find out how you can save $100 off a live stream package with Varsity Media by calling 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net.
When it comes to advertising, are you hitting the right audience? Why waste your time with television or a free print publication that's given out at a local deli? Varsity Media has your back. With a following of over 50,000 and a local demographic ranging between the ages of 18 and 54 years old, it's time to get that return on investment. Plus, here's the best part. Your ad lives forever on our YouTube page. And with a large on-demand audience, it's a grand slam to advertise with Varsity Media.
Just 16 and a half seconds to go in the third quarter here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. Somers pushing back with 2 straight goals, chance to cut the lead to 4. Southside able to deny them on the man-up opportunity. And now the Cyclones an opportunity to give themselves a healthier cushion heading into the fourth. 16 seconds on the clock.
And it looks like they're just going to concede and run the quarter out.
Owen West.
Nope.
And so that clock.
Sorry, it looks like there's some clock difficulties.
Yeah, that's what it was. I mean, it was not. I thought play was starting too, and apparently our scorekeeper did as well, so went down from 16.8 to 13.3. Will be reset to 13.3 as Owen West got to move an additional 10 yards or so up the field. The rain is coming down in the lights here in Rockville Center. Southside Cyclones looking to move to 9-1 on the year. Coming off a big-time stretch, a 7-4 win over Garden City. Lost to Wantagh 15-11 in what Steve DiPietro called their worst defensive game in the last couple of years. And then bounced back a 12-7 win over Farmingdale, in which they scored 7 straight goals.
Well, sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. And it's better to lose now early in the season when you're not playing for playoffs and it's a single elimination. So a little wake-up call for the guys can go a long way. Yeah,
and maybe Somers getting that today after we mentioned that one close game over Wilton. Other than that, you can't blame Jordan Hirsch. He tried to schedule as a competitive schedule as he possibly could, playing Scarsdale, a state Final Four team, a year ago, then taking out Briarcliff, a state Final Four team 2 years ago, Mahopac. I mean, you go game after game against teams that always seem to be in the mix, and Somers has, by and large, rolled through that schedule so far. Not the case today against Southside, as this has been an extended delay. The clock now showing 1:33, which it definitely shouldn't, and let's remind you how you can have a thrilling experience on Varsity Media. If you want to book a sportscast, let Varsity Media broadcast your lacrosse games. Great for rivalry games like the Woodstick, Homecoming, Senior Day, and playoffs. You can email varsitymedia@gmail.com or call 917-470-0864 at any time of the night. Mention this ad and get 25% off your sportscast. And now the clock is running. It should not be running, so we'll let it reset here. With the Cyclones leading 10-5, and they're going to call it clock issues. And Steve DiPietro, I assume, isn't super thrilled with that, but he'll take it up by 5. We'll take it as well. We'll step aside. When we come back, our Onyx Sylvia speedy play, I should say, of the game. That next on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Varsity Media offers live streaming services for any sport. With human beings behind the camera, you can expect the proper coverage angles during each game. We offer customizable options such as live scoreboard, multiple cameras, instant replay, graphics, and even announcers. Find out how you can save $100 off a live stream package with Varsity Media by calling 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Did you know Varsity Media now offers action photography for all sporting events? Available for individuals or teams, we'll send dedicated photographers down to field level to capture your best moments. Our rates are affordable and our photos will leave you with lasting memories for a lifetime. Contact us today, mention this ad, and get $25 off your first order. Email ben@varsitymedia.net or call 516-403-2050.
You want to do it? All right, we're going to show you our Onyx Salva speedy play of the game, and it came on Somers' first goal of the second half. All right, we're gonna save it, but Ryan Brush was heavily involved. Little. That's called a tease in the biz. 12 minutes on the clock. Southside with the ball. I mean, what's the strategy here for Somers down by 5?
Well, it appears that they actually are man up right now, Southside. So we can get to that. That's why it looks like West was holding the ball. We were not made aware there was a penalty on the play there.
And now it all makes a lot more sense, because if not, it's a home. I could see that trick being pulled. If Southside was the road team, like in your home stadium, you're like, no, we're gonna wait this out. We're gonna get the clock right. But it's great recognition by you, John. Is that shot low?
Pepe was jumping on that one.
Haven't gotten to totally sing Owen West's praises in this game. The senior heading to Bryan All-County a year ago. Leading goal scorer last year at 30. Having another, or second leading goal scorer, I should say, at 28 last year. Putting together another monster season. Big-time shooter.
And what a luxury for Coach DiPietro, right? He's got so many guys. It's all spread out. It's all even. Everybody's pitching in. So even with a guy like Owen West, maybe he's not lighting up the scoreboard tonight. You know, the next game he could drop 5. It doesn't even matter.
Mills fumbles the ball. Palazzolo pushing the other way. Brush looking for his 4th goal and just missing.
And that was the transition that they've been looking for since we talked about it in the pregame, right? Get out and running, try to get this group off on their heels a little bit. Great, great setup. Just a shot, just a touch wide.
This is the first time we've gotten to see Nick Jimenez, a slippery sophomore who has forced himself into the rotation for Jordan Hirsch's squad. Playing really well this year. 4 points, 2 goals, 2 assists. Mason Kelly, the vet, heading to play his college ball at Brown. Haven't gotten to say his name a lot tonight.
But he has the short stick here, which forced a quick slide, as you see. Now they've got to try to find that backside cutter and take advantage of the mismatch.
And Southside, again, missing a couple regulars. You can tell just how well schooled this group is, and you're seeing guys who don't typically play a lot, and you're realizing tonight it's not due to lack of ability. It's just because the guys in front of them are so good. Iglesias on the run, electrifying the Tuskers faithful.
And I believe he started off on a short stick right there and took advantage of that mismatch, right? He gave him a little shake, a little plant to it looked like he was going to go left, came top side, got his hands free on the run. Unfortunately for Miss Muscarella, there's nothing really he can do there. That's just a great player making a great play. But yeah, you see he has the short stick. He forces the slide. Finally gets away from Mullen.
And how about the shot fake or on the run? Because that's what got him that step.
Yeah, he got him a little, gave him that little separation, that little hitch. As you talked about the quick twitch move that he had earlier. He is electric.
And you can certainly see how that translates to the football field. He's going to take over next season for Max Sullivan as the starting quarterback, going for a 3rd straight state title. And then Matt Mayfield on procedure wins the clamp. And just like that, Somers down by 4. Still time to make it a game here against the Cyclones. One more goal, and that sideline in all white starts sweating a little bit.
There's no 2-point shot here in high school like there is in the PLL, but so you got to pick one at a time, and you don't have to take the first one, but you have to take the best shot for your guys. There's plenty of time in this clock, especially the face-off battle has been a battle. Well, Laconia has had the upper hand in the second half. They're still it's completely lopsided.
All 6 goals scored by 2 players for Somers, 3 apiece for Ryan Brush and Miguel Iglesias. Would be great to get a third guy involved, or just let Iglesias continue to go off. Back up that time in the form of Sullivan. Now are they trying to give this ball to Southside? No, they're not. I saw the Somers players get up in arms for a second there.
It looks like Southside was subbing, so I thought they had a quick change on an unforced turnover. Oh, they're going to give it, hopefully.
And big ball scooped off the...
This is a big-time ground ball for Somers right now. They could use a possession.
It was Owen Green who got the initial scoop. Instead, a diving goal. You called it. Somers needed to win it. They couldn't do it. And instead, it's Southside taking advantage. Michael Aiello, leading goal scorer, just won on the game. He wasn't going to accept that.
You have an unforced turnover. After you score a great goal, you have an unforced turnover. You're hoping to actually keep that possession, maybe get a 2-goal run, get some juice going, and then there's a wild 50-50 ball. Everybody's fighting for it, and a great play by, is that Aiello?
Yeah. Falling on the run. I mean, that is a coach's son who said, you know what, I'm going to spend 2 months this summer practicing shooting while I'm falling down. and you see the results of that.
And then Southside comes out and wins the ensuing face-off.
Game-changing sequence. Somers still fighting, nearly able to force the turnover. Excellent
ground ball.
Stick check that time to knock it loose by Balancia, and Somers will have it. Yeah, so that's huge for Somers, but still that 2-goal swing felt like a small window for the Tuskers. You cut it to 3. All of a sudden, it's truly a game, and now Southside with 8 minutes to go. 5 feels like a bit too much, but we'll see what Somers can do.
Well, this is the matchup that we've been looking at all night. Mullen versus Iglesias. I mean, these two guys are exceptional.
Iglesias that time does not want the smoke from the 6'5" Mullen. Both multi-sport stars have played for state Final Fours and other sports. Turning the corner, but unable to get the shot off was Kelly. Now Southside just been a little bit better on those ground balls.
Yeah.
A little bit cleaner.
And you're going for the home run skip pass through traffic when you have arguably your best player.
He knows what to do with it. Michael Aiello pouring one in on the other end. Southside slamming the door shut after it appeared to be open just a crack.
And once again, unforced turnovers is leading to transition goals for Southside.
And this is what Somers likes to do, right? Quickly turn defense into offense. Aiello, sees a window. And again, just opportunistic, right? On a day where they didn't really need him to have a big game, late in this matchup, he's finding his rhythm.
He's making plays. And you see him as he's coming off the wing right there. He sort of gives like a little hesitation where he's going to, hey, I'm going to pull it out. And then he goes back and then he draws the defender a little bit further away and does a great job getting the stick in front of his body and protecting himself.
Mayfield, a quick win that time. You almost could have seen Mayfield just firing that one off. He's had an excellent offensive season with 14 points, 10 goals on the year. Or 7 goals, 7 assists on the year for Matt Mayfield. But Southside's done a nice job sliding his way. Time, obviously, a pressing issue for Somers. Tristan Iglesias hasn't gotten a ton of time off the bench in this one.
Yeah, I think that first midfield run has logged a lot of minutes right now. These transition goals going back and forth from offense down to defense.
Max Sullivan has his pocket picked by Pat Mullen. Oh, and just shrugs Mullen off. You see the strength of Sullivan, and he gets his first. That fist pump told you everything you needed to know after an evening full of frustration. And Pat Mullen kind of flipping over the body of Sullivan on the ground in some pain, so we'll step aside on the Varsity Media Sports Network. As he's taking another look at the injury, Sullivan gets the goal, but first priority is checking out Pat Mullen as we'll step aside.
Varsity Media offers live streaming services for any sport. With human beings behind the camera, you can expect the proper coverage angles during each game. We offer customizable options such as live scoreboard, multiple cameras, instant replay, graphics, and even announcers. Find out how you can save $100 off a live stream package with Varsity Media by calling 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Did you know Varsity Media now offers action photography for all sporting events? Available for individuals or teams, we'll send dedicated photographers down to field.
Good to see Pat Mullen walking off under his own power, 6'5" senior, heading to Providence, an all-county performer. Last year, Steve DiPietro at the start of this year saying he's All-American potential. I mean, he's played like an All-American tonight.
There is no doubt. He is a surefire stud out there.
And you hope he is all good. We were talking about it during the commercial, but this was Steve DiPietro's worst fear with an important game coming up against an excellent carry team on Monday. He didn't, again, say this directly, but it was pretty obvious. The number one priority in this game was just to come out with no injuries. He even said after Wanta, look, we didn't need to go undefeated this year. Our goal was never to go undefeated this year. Obviously, that's nice, but it's just about getting that one seed and being healthy when the playoffs come, and hopefully Pat Mullen just a minor bump and bruise, and maybe in a closer game he'd be back in. You'd expect him to sit the rest of this one.
Yeah, as you mentioned, that one seed in Nassau B right now is so important, right? With three teams like Southside, Manhasset, and Garden City, maybe getting that 1-4 matchup just helps you out just a little bit, especially with teams like Manhasset and Garden City who have been down these roads so many times. Both are two-time state defending champions, Manhasset in the C's for the past 2 years, and Garden City in the B's.
And look, you don't want to take anything away of these Southside teams the last 2 years. We mentioned last year playing Garden City to a 9-8 game in the regular season, but Garden City and Manhasset both just so loaded these last 2 seasons. It does feel like with all the attrition those two teams have dealt with this year, when Southside in turn bring back essentially every crucial piece outside of Tommy Gentile and the Meyerhofer twins, there is a window here for Steve DiPietro's squad.
And that's such a great point, right? Manhasset and Garden City are playing guys who haven't logged as many minutes as these Southside guys over the past 2 or 3 years. And trust me, there's still plenty of talent there, and they're getting their legs going, and there will be a tough outcome in playoff time. But this, as we mentioned many times, it's 26 seniors they are in this together. They are gunning for something greater for all of them.
And they just got to watch at halftime. I mean, the 20-year anniversary of that 2004 team, and obviously when you're training in the off season, as this play is delved into complete chaos. Southside trying to pay it off. They'll do just that. What a bit of improvisational brilliance from Cole DiPietro.
Coach's kid, man. They just have a different gear, and he is just grinding right now and playing so tough.
We saw it from Aiello first, right, in those chaotic plays. It's funny because you would think those plays are all about instinct. They're about skill level and ability to leverage them against a discombobulated defense. DiPietro doing just that, right?
I mean, I'm sure he's been on a lacrosse field since he was probably in diapers. So this is not a foreign place for him. And as his dad has probably hammered home to him a million times, ground balls win games, and those are the type of plays that do it.
Mayfield another win at X, and that's a nifty takeaway punch from Melkonian.
He's really shown a lot tonight with the 2 assists, I believe a goal, some great clears. At one point he was actually playing X attack, it seemed like.
I mean, the one goal was unfortunately when we were out of commission due to technical difficulties, but that might have been the goal of the day, like a low, just drive-by drop shot to beat the talented Landon Pepe. Somers with the ball, down by 6. Little over 4 to go. And just to put a bow on that conversation, I mean, Steve DiPietro just talking about that Garden City game, saying, look, that is the best he's seen this group play. They were completely locked in. They spent the summer stewing because all of last year they were saying, we just need another chance at Garden City. We just need another chance at Garden City. And they played a great Calhoun team led by Jake Lewis, North Carolina bound Peter Tolman, and lost a heartbreaker 6-5, and never got that chance and they come back, they win football in Nassau County, but that whole time they're thinking about, man, we just got to get back to play Garden City, and they hold them to 2 goals through 3 quarters, 7-4 victory. And again, if you're Garden City, they say, all right, we'll see you in May. That's when it really counts. But it is a sign that this Southside team is a little bit different.
No, they have a great group, and they're well coached and they're organized. And to be honest, their defense tonight has been absolutely spectacular. Very well organized. Slides have been in perfect timing. Forcing Somers into some tough situations.
And the emphasis this offseason as we watch another acrobatic clear here for Southside. The emphasis this offseason for Steve DiPietro, he showed his team the film. He said, hey, like here's what killed us against Calhoun. Here's what killed us against Garden City. It was just it was small things. It wasn't a talent issue. It was, hey, they went to zone and we're not moving our feet enough, and we didn't score when it was 5-5, and they got the ball back and finished up the game. And if we can just correct these small things and these thin margins that championships inevitably get decided on, we're good enough to win. He said they were so fired up about winning Nassau in football. This was easily the best offseason they've had as a group, and I think it's that understanding of, as we keep mentioning, that this is the last ride, and these guys have, we said, spent about a decade and a half almost playing together, certainly a decade all playing together, and you don't get to do it in college in the same way. And I'm sure you experienced that your last few years at Manhasset.
No, and as you mentioned, like the small things equal the big things, though, and no minor detail. There's no detail too small, especially when you're playing for a county championship or a Long Island championship, and you got to go up against a Steve Fennell coach team or a Keith Cromwell coach team. These guys are excellent at what they do. So the littlest of mistakes can lead to a run or an unfortunate, turn of events for your squad, and that's what they're trying to avoid this year by taking all that extra work and that film prep and more not looking at the highlights and looking at sort of their low lights and saying, how do we fix this and how do we get better, and let's make this finish this year strong.
And that was Dean Palazzolo on the illicit check, so he will check out. He's an extremely fast player, and it's relevant right now because we are about to head to our speedy play of the game. We've teased it as much as we can. Let's get into it right now. Speedy play of the game. Visit www.speedislandny.com. It's good we had the extra time because we ended up changing it. Let's take a look now at our winner for speedy play of the game. And it's all Southside. Michael Aiello separating in transition, bullying his way to the cage, saying, I'm that dude. A hat trick, 2 goals in the second half. He has been super impressive. We wanted to remind you that's our Speed Island Speedy play of the game. Improve your speed with Onyx Salva and team located in Garden City. Visit speedislandny.com to book your session today. But just a big-time second half for Southside Stars. We talked about the first half, all about the balance. Second half, DiPietro, he earns a hat trick. Aiello, he earns a hat trick. Owen West gets 2 goals. And the big-time Gunners have kept Somers at bay.
Yep.
And you have to know Pat Mullen on the other end of things, of course.
And Pat Mullen and the rest of the Southside defense making it quite difficult for Somers to really get into a rhythm. They scored a couple of a man-up goal, a few other goals, but never really got that 2-3 pass goal to create some momentum and get everybody involved. And on the other side of it, Southside, multiple goal scores, multiple assists, really just a clean game across the board.
Some fresh faces in for Southside, Joandi Falcon, not Patrick Mullen, Sean Glynn. And again, all these guys are part of that same class of 26 seniors. And Steve DiPietro said it's tough because some of the guys in that group haven't got an opportunity to play, and it's not because they're not deserving. It's just because they're so deep, but they have moments in these blowouts like that. The scoop off the carpet, and Glynn knew where to put it. And it was an excellent initial play by Tim Erickson, who baited the backup netminder, Brett Kennedy, or Pepe might have come out of net, and then Kennedy was left to play goalie. That's what happened there. Number 19 was in goal, and he could not get the stop.
But we talked about it, right, multiple times tonight. All these seniors, right, they got their butt. Now it's the role players guys' turn to make some plays, and they're making some plays. They're hunting around, they're ripping shots, they're fighting for ground balls, and you see the outcome, and the bench is going crazy. So it makes practice tomorrow that much better for everybody.
And it comes down to the culture at Southside, where the guys on the bench, you see cheering the loudest, that are guys like Owen West, like Cole DiPietro, like Michael Aiello, and it's because these guys have all been friends for 10 years now.
I did catch a couple glimpses. I did catch a couple glimpses of some row your boat celebrations on the sidelines. So the kids are having fun, and again it seems like Coach DiPietro's got a more of a we not me type of attitude with this team.
And that's what it takes, because I know we keep harping on it, but the culture at a place like Garden City, a place like Manhasset, it's ironclad, and you have to be able to replicate that on top of their talent, on top of their skill level to beat it. And Southside this year, they have all the ingredients. Cutting in, and that's a pretty finish to cap off an incredible night for Miguel Iglesias. We've spent so much time, John, singing the praises of this Southside team. Miguel Iglesias might be the most special player on the field for either side.
There is a reason why he's going to Notre Dame, right? And he's shown it tonight. He's fought all game long. He's taking wings on faceoffs. He's playing playing defense. He's running up and down the field. I think he probably took every single midfield shift besides two. No quitting him. He's a special talent.
Has 4 of the 8 goals today for Somers. And we noted it, but I just want to emphasize this. He's a special athlete, special competitor, but what separates him is the work. And Jordan Hersing, especially for a guy who's coming off his sophomore season this summer, he's almost never seen a kid work that hard, take the amount of reps that he's taken, and he has an innate pride in doing things the right way, and that even more so than his natural talent is why he's heading to play for the defending national champs. Violante trying to squeeze a pass into Grading Carr, and then on the deflection, right place, right time. Ryan Brush has his 4th goal. So a little bit of a positive note to end this one for Somers. And if you're Jordan Hirsch, obviously you wanted to win this game, but you schedule this game to learn more about your team, right?
Absolutely. And certain districts have certain rules about how many out of conference games you can play. I believe they're allowed 3. So there's no harm in coming down here and playing a great team and sort of testing yourself and saying, okay, this is what we're doing up home, but now this is what's down there. We got to get better. These are the things to work at. And there's a great film for them to study and say, hey, uncharacteristic with us, unforced turnovers, some failed clears, tighten up a couple things. We're right in this mix come playoff time. Yeah,
one thing they don't have to improve much is Matt Mayfield. He had himself a heck of a showing today against one of the best face-off men in the country in Michael Melkonian, but it's Southside getting the win 14-9. And before we get to our final thoughts here from Southside High School, we want to take you through the Hungry Man play of the game, the Hungry Man of the game. So our Hungry Man of the game today has to be, I'm going to say Pat Mullen, because he was eating shots this entire game, got hurt, but what an effort before that. And you saw maybe outside of Miguel Iglesias, there was fear going against Pat Mullen today.
Yeah, he stretched the defense all over the field, and he was an eraser out there. He is one of these prototypical Division I defensemen, 6'5", long, rangy, athletic, fast, a tremendous player and a tremendous effort tonight.
So I want to remind you that Pat Mullen is today's Hungry Man of the game, brought to you by George Martin, the original, serving lunch Tuesday through Friday, open 7 nights a week, private party rooms. The George, the newest member of the George Martin Group family. The George is an American tavern serving dinner 7 nights a week. Inquire about a private party. And we also wanted to tell you one final time about our good friends over at Girolamo, protecting what matters most since 1962. The Girolamo Insurance Agency is your trusted advisor located in northern Westchester with over 6 decades of experience. Girolamo Insurance has been serving clients across New York and Connecticut with dedication and expertise, specializing in both personal and commercial lines. The Girolamo Agency prioritizes your needs to tailor coverage that fits you best. Reach out to Russ Girolamo and his agency team today at 914-962-9777 or visit www.girolamoagency.com. The Girolamo Insurance Agency, your neighborhood agency since 1962. Thank you to our valued sponsors at Girolamo Insurance Agency. All right, John, this was a fun one. Your Varsity Media debut.
Thank you so much.
I hope you had a great time.
It was fantastic.
What were your final thoughts on this game?
You know, the Southside team is well coached. They're efficient. They don't make many mistakes. They've got every piece of the puzzle. The faceoff guy, the goalie. They've got offense. They've got range defensemen. And this Somers team is talented. They're young, but there is something there. A couple things that they need to clean up going down the stretch would be their clearing game and maybe some unforced errors on the offensive side. But that's a talented team with some real high-powered shooters out there. They're going to they'll make an interesting run out of the back half of this season. And
Somers maybe a year away from hitting the level that Southside is at now. But you know what? This is the way they've dominated Section 1. There's a chance that you get a rematch in the New York State Final Four. But that is a long ways away. For now, we want to thank our fantastic Varsity Media crew, our executive producer, Ben Turchin, our technical director, Becca Kazaks, on camera, doing an incredible job at capturing all the shots, Rob Bianco and Jeff Damo. For my partner, John Kasalakis, I'm Gavin Shull, signing off one final time from Southside High School. An impressive non-league victory for the Cyclones.